Today we're going to show you how to make a beautiful homemade Chicago-style Italian beef sandwich with beautiful smoked and braised oxtails and short ribs. It's going to be delicious! For our stock, we grabbed some beef oxtails, neck bones, and marrow bones. We roasted these, no salt and pepper or anything like that, in the oven for about 400, 450 degrees for 25 minutes just to get everything browned up. That's going to be the base of our stock. I found with like chicken stock or seafood stock, we don't need to roast those, but for the beef stock, it's kind of browning. Maillard reaction really helps develop tremendous rich flavors for beef stock. So now, in addition to the beef, we've added in celery, rough half-chopped onion, half-chopped garlic, and carrots. I'm going to add the kosher salt, some whole peppercorns. Don't worry about how much you're putting in. Just throw a bunch of stuff in there. We're trying to get all the flavors out of here. Some dry oregano. And then we're going to fill this with cold tap water. We have our stock pot filled with the cold water, left about a quarter to a third up top here because we're going to want to bring this to a low boil, then drop that to a low simmer for the next 10 hours. And when that starts to get really hot, it'll expand. So we just want to be careful that we don't overflow here. We ended up going 20 hours on this stock. Just let it go overnight. I definitely recommend going at least 8 hours, but when you get to the 12, 15, 18, 20 mark, all the goodness out of the bones really comes out amazing. So no harm going pretty high on the hours there. And then the way I like to strain this is I'll get a colander or something like that, wrap that with some cheesecloth, and put some clips on that, and that's going into the biggest pot you have. We're going to end up needing 2 pots to get this all strained out, but that'll be perfect stock once it goes through there. For our beef, we're going to be going untraditional with short ribs as well as oxtails. And first thing we're going to do with the short ribs is get this hard, kind of waxy fat off the top. What we're looking for is all this beautiful intramuscular fat to melt down in the smoke and the braise. So I definitely recommend you use one of these fillet knives here, specifically to take all the fat off. It's kind of designed for this. Works incredibly well. We're going to trim all that fat off and get these seasoned up. Our second meat is going to be these beautiful oxtails that I've smoked and braised before, and they're phenomenal. So we're going to treat them very simply with kosher salt and pepper. And look, this isn't your traditional Italian beef. That'd be done with kind of a roast beef, but we don't have a slicer here. And I just love the way these break down. I like smoking a lot of meat, and all the fat and connective tissue here, when you smoke and braise it, just breaks down beautifully. So it's going to be incredibly tender. Not the same chew as an Italian beef, but it's going to be phenomenal. We stabilized our Big Joe connected at 240 degrees. I recommend anywhere from 225 to 250 for this smoke, and we're going 2 to 3 hours on the smoke just for some beautiful color on this beef. We've got 2 chunks of oak, and we are indirect right now. We'll come back and check on this in about 2 hours. We've hit 2 hours and 15 minutes here, and we have some beautiful color on the short ribs and the oxtails. This was all at about 240 degrees the entire time. You can see the short ribs pulling up the bone. I love to see that. Great color. So what we're going to do next is get these all into this aluminum foil pan here. Then we're going to add in some of our beef stock. We've got our beef ribs to the side. Those are going to smoke wide open, and that's totally fine. Next, we're going to add in all this beautiful beef stock that we made. And it doesn't need to cover to the very top, but we do want the oxtails touching this, it's going to help cook them and braise them really nice. And make sure you taste your stock before, see if it needs any salt or added pepper. That's the time to put it in. Next, we're going to wrap this in some aluminum foil, let that go about 4 to 5 hours until these are fall apart tender. On the beef ribs themselves, we're going to take those to about 200 degrees. We'll measure those with a thermometer, wrap those in aluminum foil once they hit. Okay, we're at the 5 hour mark. I ended up upping the temperature to 275 for the last hour here. The ribs are done. They hit 200 degrees. I'm going to wrap them in 2 layers of aluminum foil, let those kind of rest, and then we're going to get the big aluminum foil pan off. Very important to support the bottom of that with something. I'm going to use a big wooden cutting board that's going to sit right on, but if not, it's too heavy to just handle on the handles. So make sure you have something sturdy underneath there. We'll let that cool off for about 30 minutes, and we'll show you how we prep this meat. But this smells so, so good. Our short ribs came out absolutely awesome. And 2 options here. We could slice and chop, or we can do a shred. I think just to have a little textural integrity similar to the Chicago Italian beef, I'm going to chop these and slice them just so we have a little more firm bite. But they were so, so good. Our oxtails rested in the bath for about 30 minutes, and then they're going to have this absolute fall apart texture to them. I had a couple bites before. They were unbelievably tasty, but they're going to just shred apart like that, come right off the bone. We're going to get all of them into this bowl here and get that ready for the sandwich. For our sandwich, we've got French bread that we sliced, but keeping it intact at the very bottom. Then we're going to throw in a little bit of provolone cheese here and then get that melted up under a low broiler. Next, we'll be loading up our delicious beef here. Next, we're going to fold this up. Try and keep that meat all in there. And then the beauty of the Chicago-style Italian beef is the dip. So we got all that beautiful beef stock that we made, that the oxtails were braising in. We're going to put the sandwich all the way in there, get it coated. And then once everything's nice and wet and dipped, put that out. You could wrap this in tinfoil, let it go for a couple minutes just to let that bread steam, or you can eat it just like this. We're going to show you our giardiniera now. And next we've got our homemade giardiniera that we made that unfortunately I wasn't able to film, but it's 1 cup of cauliflower, 1 cup carrots, 1 cup celery, 1 cup red bell pepper, and then we put in some beautiful Calabrian chili peppers for heat. We did 1 full day with 2 cups of water, 2 cups of white vinegar, 1/4 cup of kosher salt. That was our kind of pickling brine that went overnight. Then we drained that really good, dried it up, put in olive oil, a bunch of spices like oregano, red pepper flakes, celery seed, some garlic powder, and some more of those Calabrian chili peppers. You can make your own, or they sell this at the store. Then we're going to go ahead and add this to our sandwich. Gives you some beautiful acidity and crunch. We'll put that back up. Here's our sandwich. First bite. So excited. It's amazing. Beef is so rich. Got some really nice kick from the giardiniera. The bread just soaking in all that beautiful beef stock that we made. I mean, it's just a really high-end, beautiful Chicago-style Italian beef sandwich. Not ultra traditional. We got the oxtails and the short rib in there. Super delicious and beefy. Highly recommend. If you got some great recipes, please drop them in the comments. Thank you for watching.